Hey, careful, huh? My daddy got it from abroad. Hey, disaster! How will you pay for the loss now?
In stock market, you should take risk as per your capacity and knowledge. Trade in options very carefully.
Wow, Dikra! Absolutely perfect. Take risk with full understanding.
सोच कर समझ कर इन्वेस्ट कर
Day war is in pause mode now. With Israel launching Operation Lion against Iran, there were fears that the world could inch towards another war, a bigger war. Now, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had said that taking out Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei could end the war. The threat of assassination coupled with Khamenei's absence from public space since June 13 raised a lot of questions. There were reports whether he was in shelter or not, but now the man himself has answered. In one word, he said, Iran has come out victorious. In his first public comment since ceasefire that was declared between Israel and Iran, Khamenei delivered a short speech. Let me just play it out for you and then I introduce my guests.
خدا رو سپاس می‌گذاریم که به نیروهای مسلح ما کمک کرد توانستند از دفاع چند لایه پیشرفته اونها عبور کنند و بسیاری از مناطق شهری و نظامی اونها رو زیر فشار موشک‌های خودشون و با تهاجم قوی سلاح پیشرفته خودشون اونها رو با خاک یکسان کنند. به مراکز هسته‌ای ما حمله کردند که البته این در خور پیگیری جزایی در دادگاه‌های بین‌المللی است به طور مستقل.
I'm joined by Ambassador Prabhu Dayal, former Indian diplomat, someone who has served in Iran for 3 years. I'm also joined by Dr. Wael Awad, strategic expert, West Asia, and Zamir Abbas Zafri, Professor Al Mustafa International University from Iran. Thank you both of you for joining me. Let me straight away go to Iran. Professor Zafri, my question to you is, how do you decode this short video message of Khamenei? I think there's a bit of a line problem with Mr. Zafri. Let me straight away go to Ambassador Dayal. Ambassador Dayal, please decode Khamenei's short video message for us where he says that he has declared victory over Israel, sir.
Well, these were his first public comments after the ceasefire between Iran and Israel. And his speech is noteworthy because it was his first broadcast since June 19. And he was breaking his silence after a week. As you said, he had not been making any public appearance for about 2 weeks. So this is very significant. Now, Khamenei said that the US president had attacked Iran because he needed to do some showmanship. And he warned America against any further attacks on Iran. Khamenei said that the US had intervened because it felt that if it did not intervene, Israel would be completely destroyed. Now, I feel that despite Khamenei's remarks that Iran was victorious and nothing much happened on the ground and that America intervened only because Israel would have been wiped out, most ground reports indicate that the war has left Iran significantly weakened and also diminished Khamenei's stature within the country and in the region. Now, during the war, if you recall, Israel quickly took control of much of Iran's airspace and attacked its military infrastructure. We also know that some of the top commanders of the Revolutionary Guard and the army were swiftly killed. Now, the extent of the damage to the military is still unclear and disputed. But the repeated bombings of the army and the Revolutionary Guard bases and their installations suggest that a substantial degradation of Iran's military power has taken place. Now, Iran's known nuclear facilities have also been damaged from the airstrikes, though the extent of the damage is hard to assess. Now, reports coming out of Iran also seem to indicate that some Iranians hold Ayatollah Khamenei responsible for setting Iran on the collision course with Israel and the US, which ultimately brought considerable ruin to the country. Now, sanctions have already crippled the Iranian economy. The state of the economy is not good at all. And this war has inflicted further damage and has brought further misery to the common person. There have been also murmurs of dissent at the top. I've seen a lot of reports coming out of Iran which indicate that there are some sort of dissent sort of activities at the top. And there are reports that there is some disagreement between the leadership levels and that there is some unhappiness also among the ordinary people. So Ayatollah Khamenei may now be confident that his regime has survived. But frankly, at the age of 86 and ailing, he also knows that his own days may be numbered and he may want to ensure continuity of the regime and an orderly transition to power, which is why he has nominated 3 persons as his possible successors. In any case, I think the remaining top commanders of the Revolutionary Guard, who have been loyal to the regime, may be seeking to wield more power from behind the scenes. So certainly, beyond doubt, this war will have some lasting consequences for Iran, although Ayatollah Khamenei has said that Iran came out victorious and Israel was given a smashing, and also that he had dealt a blow on America's face. Regardless, I think the situation within Iran has weakened considerably. The sufferings of the common person have escalated.
Okay. Dr. Wael Abad, do you think that Iran would now like to cross the nuclear line once for all? A lot of experts have written on it. And your opening comments on the video message of Khamenei?
Thank you, Karthikeya. I think it was in your channel where some of the expertise were saying that Khamenei has been killed, that the Iranians are suffering, there is no food, there is a shortage of food and everything in Iran. But at the end of the day, I was assuring your panelists with some of your colleagues that nothing has happened. Iranian is emerging stronger than before. Believe me, even the opposition in Iran have been united against, though there are people who've been even in jail during the Khamenei time, but they were able to stand united against the Israeli aggression. So therefore, to say that they have been defeated, I'm 100% sure, and I can assure you, they emerged more stronger. And now they are also have passed a resolution in the parliament where they will not coordinate or cooperate with the IAEA agency because of 2 reasons. One of the major, breakthrough in Iranian sabotage against the Israelis, they have collected so much of data and documented from the Mossad and about their covert operation in the region. And one of the major papers was that the communication between the head of the International Atomic Energy Agency and the collaboration with the Israelis. So he was their agent and transferring and all the things about Iran. So therefore, this is one of the issues Iran will definitely think twice before calling them back into Iran. The second part also, remember that it was Iran under the attack, which from Israel. And Iran has fought not only Israel, by the way. Iran fought the NATO forces in the region, Karthikeya. You see, they have fought, first of all, when the rocket launched from Iran, there is a French Rafale to stop it. There is a British warship to stop it. There is the American defense system to stop it in Iraq. There is the French, German, American, Israelis, all that dome to stop it. They failed, but they were able to attack deep inside Israel and to cause damage. And if this war continued for a month, I can assure you not a single Israeli would have remained inside Israel, because the Israelis never seen in their life this much of destruction that happened to their country. They were only watching TV. They won the war while sitting inside their rooms. Their army fought the 5 days war with the Arab countries. They won it. They didn't know about it. So therefore, that expansion at the cost of the Arab countries and the Palestinian cause have created that kind of ego in them that they can take any country. Iran was an exception, and Iran caused the damage. I'm sure both sides have got the damage badly, but remember, Iran fought 8 years war with Iraq, and they survived. They emerged stronger despite the sanction by the United States ever since the revolution has come 1979. All this did not stop the Iranian from being so strong. Yes, you killed 14 to 18 scientists. There are 12,000 scientists and physicians in Iraq. Yes, you destroyed Iran infrastructure. They can rebuild it. Believe me, I traveled in Iran every year extensively for the last 4 decades. So I can understand the sentiment of the Iranian when it comes to fight together against one enemy, which has been the aggressor, the United States and the Israel.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Jaffrey. Professor Jaffrey, your opening comments?
Thank you very much for having me on the show. I completely disagree with Mr. Dayal and completely agree with Mr. Awayed. I think this is the arrogant thinking of the Western powers, the imperialist powers. They live in a dream world. Ayatollah Khamenei has become weak. I've been hearing this nonsense since last 20 years. That, oh, regime is about to fall. Oh, regime is about to fall. And they never accept the reality. The reality is when attack happened on 13th of June, the same Friday, millions of people came on the street. And the first thing that Netanyahu said was that we are going to bring about a regime change inside Iran. And what happened? People came and people supported Ayatollah Khamenei. Still they are in the dream world after Israel being smashed from all corners. And Netanyahu requested Trump, and Trump requested the Amir of Qatar. They requested that we cannot continue this war. The mayor of Israel, the mayor of Haifa, his name is Yonah Yahav. He gave an interview and he said that if this war continues for 2 weeks, Haifa will be gone. This is what has happened, and unfortunately, this slavery mindset that nobody can fight Israel or America. This mindset still believes that America has won, or Israel has won the war, and Iran has become weak. But if you look at all the channels in the Middle East, all the national channels in the Middle East, they are saying that Iran has won. There was a survey on Twitter, on X. It said 60% of the people of the world.
I don't want to have. Let me have this conversation from an Indian perspective. Neither I hold the Israeli perspective nor the Iranian perspective. I am an Indian, and when it comes to foreign policy, I must have an Indian perspective, and I should be honest about it. So my questions will have the Indian perspective. I hold no brief for the American perspective. My point is, as an Indian, because the Persian culture has a historical relationship with the Indian subcontinent. But what really befuddles me is that, can Iran ever come to terms with the physical existence of Israel in West Asia and legitimate relationship with the United States of America? Can it aspire to be a strong regional power, which it does, with acceptance of the fact that the hegemony lies with America, and Israel also has a right to exist in West Asia?
Okay, if you give me time, I'll answer this question from an Indian perspective.
3 minutes.
Yes, okay. Okay, that's fine. Let me start with point number 1. The acceptance of Israel as a country, when it was asked to Mahatma Gandhi said Palestine belongs to the Palestinians the same way England belongs to the English. And he did not accept the existence of Israel as a country because it was an occupation country. We as Indians, because we suffered colonialism, because we suffered occupation, we should be the first country to oppose an occupier, and we should support the people who are the oppressed people in an occupation. For point number 1. Point number 2. when they say that, but it's in United Nation, but we should accept because it's in United Nation. Before 1945, before United Nation, there was League of Nation. In those League of Nation, India was a British colony, accepted by everybody in the world. So if everybody in the world of the League of the Nation accepted India as a British colony, should we accept that as a British colony? No. We believed in the freedom of India the same way we should believe in the freedom of Palestine. Point number three, when they say that Israel should not exist, what does it mean? Does it mean they want to annihilate Jews? It's nonsense. The highest number of Jews after Israel in the Middle East live in Iran. They are safe. They have the member of the parliament. They have the chief rabbi. They have synagogue in Tehran and all over Iran. So this is absolute nonsense by media that Iran wants to annihilate the Jews. It's nonsense. Now, the last point. What is the solution to the Palestine and Israeli problem? The solution to the Palestinian and Israeli problem is this, that everybody who is the owner of that land, who lived in Palestine, whether Christian, Jew, or Muslim, they should come back and there should be a referendum. And those people who live in that land should create a country. That country should be of the people who own the land, and all the occupiers who came from Europe or America should go back to their own country. Netanyahu is from Poland, he should go back to Polish. The other ministers in the in the Israeli government, they're all from Europe. They're not from Palestine. So the question remains, what is the solution? The solution is Palestine should be free. This is the view of Mahatma Gandhi. This is the view of Ayatollah Khamenei, and this is what should happen. This was the view of Nelson Mandela. So this is a revolutionary view. Second point that you asked about the hegemony, about the American interest. My question is, why is America in the Middle East? Why do they have American bases in the Middle East? Why should Middle
Okay.
East or West
3 minutes are over,
Asia
sir.
give all its resources to the West?
3 minutes over. Okay, you made your point. Ambassador, there it's easier said than done. Countries are right to change their position. We changed it, dehyphenated, the issue of Palestine with Israel. The first step was taken by Narasimha Rao. Subsequently, other prime minister followed. Then Narendra Modi also took the step. He followed his own foreign policy. So my question to you from the Indian perspective is that can Iran come to peace with the current reality of West Asia, where Sunni neighbors have not cooperated with the Iranian revolution? The biggest resistance have come from UAE, it has come from Saudi Arabia, it has come from the countries which are part of what we call West Asia.
Well, first of all, let me say that India's position in regard to Palestine is that we want a two-state solution. And this has been talked about for such a long time. And we have repeatedly said that unless the two-state solution is implemented, the situation in the Middle East cannot normalize. Now, you asked me about the Shia-Sunni question, the Gulf Arab states and Iran. Yes, I've served in Iran for 3 years, but I also served as Consul General in Dubai. I've served in Egypt. I've served as ambassador in Kuwait, as ambassador in Morocco. There are some differences which these countries have with Iran. For instance, between the UAE and Iran, there's also a territorial issue. The Abu Musa Island and the two Tum Islands, the Greater Tum and the Lesser Tum, which are occupied by Iran. But UAE says that these are ours, and they say that they should be returned by Iran to us. Similarly, there are issues relating to Bahrain, because sometimes we hear statements from Iran that Bahrain should not even be an independent country. It is a part of Iran. Of course, there are differences between Saudi Arabia and Iran. So there are some fundamental differences between Iran and its neighbors. Now, I never said that the regime in Iran is going to change. I said that Ayatollah Khamenei is now 86 years old, and he has nominated 3 successors. He has not nominated his son. Of course, while the war was going on, there was a talk of a regime change. But after the war has ended, nobody is talking about regime change. I didn't say that now there could be a regime change. However, there are some things to be noted. The discontent of the Iranian people has increased, as it is the sanctions which the United States had placed on it were hurting the economy. And now the war has further weakened the economy. So Iran will have to work doubly hard to restore things. And there are signals even from the United States that they might encourage this process, because ultimately, who suffers the most? It is the people of Iran, and nobody wants the people of Iran to suffer. Now, what about India's position? Because you said from the Indian perspective, you would be looking at matters. India has always said that the escalation of the war should have been avoided from the beginning. India said that there should be dialogue and diplomacy. We had even offered to mediate. We have good relations with Iran. We have good relations with Israel. There's nothing wrong with that. And as far as the politics of the region is concerned, we favor a return to normality, to stability and peace. And we will do everything possible to work that out.
Absolutely, sir. I completely agree with you. Dr. Awad, I think Ambassador
Can I
Dayal...
respond 30 seconds, please?
No. I need to go to... I'll come to you. Dr. Awad, are we looking at a quick succession? Is there a possibility then a year or two that, a new leader is announced? Is that possible? Because the war has changed a lot of things.
Kartik, let me just add one point important here. I agree with Ambassador analysis, and he is an old friend of mine. The point I'm raising here, that he is a religious leader. He's a supreme leader of a religious sect in Islam. He has to be respected. There is a democratically elected government in Iran. By the way, there is a system to function. The man is old, anybody succeed him. That's normal. That's a normal of a practice. But when you say that you are going to kill a leader of a religious people, and you are intentionally saying so, you are inciting the people against you everywhere. So you can't blame tomorrow if, God forbidden, he was attacked, that he would be saving the world from the American will be more safer, on the world will be safer, whoever killed him. So I think this is very important. We have to differentiate between a religious leader and between the system democratically elected government. Secondly, remember the Kartika, 1979, prior to 1979, it was Israel and the CIA and the Mossad who was the most active in Iran. The problem is nobody understanding that Mossadegh was removed 1953, democratically elected by the MI5, by the CIA, by the Mossad. Then they brought for them the nuclear issues. The American who sold the first nuclear reactor, the French and the Germans sold them again. Then you had the revolution came. The Israeli embassy was closed. They opened instead the Palestinian embassy. Then the American made an anti-Iranian because they wanted to nationalize their oil. American looting them. 70% of the revenue goes to the American, and 85% used to go to the Britishers. So therefore, it's their interest where it goes, and they are deceiving the public and the world that this is because they demonize the country. They create for you a person, a devil, and demonize them. So they legitimize their occupation and conquering of the region. Iran is having a civilization of 7,000, 8,000 years.
Okay.
India is a natural extension of West Asia, barring 1948 division, 47 division of the subcontinent. Okay, so India is a natural involvement in the region for three reasons: the oil security, the food security, and the Indian diaspora. You have 90 lakh Indians living in the Gulf. I think India should be the number one who should call for halting of any operation in the region and for global peace and stability.
I think India has done that. 30 seconds to Mr. Jafri, but respect that. 30 seconds.
Okay. First of all, regarding appointing a successor, this is a fake news by New York Times. And if you read the New York Times news, it says that it is by unconfirmed sources. And I'm shocked at the media or the world media having a copy-paste ideology, checking on a news, copying it, and not even verifying and not even saying what is the source. That is the kind of media that we live in, just copy-pasting everything that the West wants to project. This whole narrative that is set is absolute nonsense.
Iran can be slightly more open society.
With no official...
it would be better if the Iran could be slightly more open to the media, like the way Americans are. You can criticize them, you can trample on them. Even the president of America says NYT, they are doing fake news. But the fact of the matter is, media is still far more free in America than what it is in Iran. But thank you all of you for joining me. Thank you. I've really run short of time. So this was on point 2. In the third on point, we look at the man who may become the first Muslim mayor of New York after a short break.
It's never easy to choose a new path, stand out in the crowd, to have your own new identity. The journey to self-reliance begins when you're fully prepared. Tata Motors Commercial